My girlfriend wanted an open relationship, so I slept with her best friend. Now she's losing it. I'm 28, male, and up until recently I thought I had a pretty solid relationship with my girlfriend, Camila. We've been together for 3 years, living together for 2, and honestly everything was going great. Like I was secretly checking out engagement rings on my lunch breaks. That kind of great. We met through mutual friends at a board game night. Super normal story. She laughed at my dumb jokes. I like how she was super competitive at Monopoly, and we just clicked. Started dating pretty much right away. Got an apartment together after a year because it made sense. We were always at each other's places. Anyway, we had our routines. You know, Sunday morning pancakes, walking in the park after work, watching those terrible reality shows she loves while I played games on my phone. Normal couple stuff. Camila works in marketing. I'm a project manager in construction. We both have decent jobs, good friends, and our families get along great. My mom loves her. Her dad always invites me to watch football. We were that couple that gave other people hope about relationships. Yeah, I know how that sounds now. Everything was perfectly normal until last Tuesday. We were having dinner, Camila was telling me about some work project, and I was halfway through my sandwich when she just goes, "What would you think about trying an open relationship?" I literally stopped mid-bite, like fork halfway to my mouth, just frozen there. I thought maybe I heard her wrong, but nope. She kept talking about how she'd been reading about it online, how lots of couples were trying it these days, how it could help us grow individually and make our relationship stronger. Is there someone specific you want to date? I asked because honestly, that was my first thought. Who brings up open relationships unless they've got someone in mind, right? Camila got all defensive. No, it's not about anyone else. I just think it would be good for us to explore ourselves more. We're still young, and I don't want us to wake up in 10 years wondering what we missed out on. I sat there trying to process what was happening. This is the same girl who once got mad because a waitress smiled at me too much. Now she's talking about dating other people like she's suggesting we try a new restaurant. Have you been feeling unhappy? I asked because maybe I'd missed something. Maybe there were signs I should have seen. Not at all, she said, reaching across the table to grab my hand. I love you. I love us. This isn't about being unhappy. It's about making our relationship even better. Think about it. We could both have new experiences but still come home to each other. Lots of couples say it makes their connection stronger. I didn't know what to say. My brain stalled somewhere between confusion and panic. My appetite completely gone. The food in front of me might as well have been cardboard. Camila, on the other hand, was animated, practically glowing as she talked, going on about boundaries, rules, communication. But all I could think was, where is this coming from? And yet, yeah, I know this makes me sound like a complete pushover, but I said okay. Not because I wanted to, not because I believed in it, but because the sheer eagerness in her eyes, the way she leaned in, practically pleading for me to be on board, made it clear she had already decided. Saying no felt like shutting a door that she had no intention of closing. Are you sure you're okay with this? She asked, all wide-eyed concern, like she was giving me a real choice. We don't have to if you're not comfortable. I looked at her, at how desperate she seemed for me to agree, and somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew this wasn't really a choice. Whether I liked it or not, something was already shifting between us, and if I wanted to figure out what was really going on, I had to play along. No, it's fine, I said, forcing a nod. If you think it'll be good for us, we can try it. And just like that, I stepped into something I didn't believe in, knowing deep down I was already losing her. She got all excited, started talking about how we should set up dating app profiles together, how we should have a system for letting each other know when we have dates planned. All these details she seemed to have already thought about. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there wondering how long she'd been planning this. The rest of the night was weird. We watched TV like normal, but my mind was racing. Camila was cuddled up next to me on the couch, acting like everything was perfectly fine, like she hadn't just suggested completely changing our relationship. I kept wanting to take it back, to tell her I wasn't actually okay with it, but I didn't know how. Every time I looked at her, scrolling through her phone with this little smile on her face, I felt more and more like I had just made a huge mistake. That night, lying in bed, I couldn't sleep. Camila was out cold next to me, peaceful as could be while I stared at the ceiling, wondering what the hell I'd gotten myself into. Part of me wanted to wake her up and tell her no, that I didn't want to share her with anyone else. But another part of me was scared. Scared that if I said no, she'd do it anyway, or leave me for someone else. So I lay there, running through every conversation we'd had recently, trying to figure out if there were signs I missed. Was she bored? Was I not enough? Was there already someone else? The questions kept coming, and I had answers for none of them. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of how messed up things were about to get. Things started changing the very next day. Camila spent the whole evening setting up her Tinder and Bumble profiles, Asking me to help pick photos like this was some totally normal thing for a boyfriend to do. She even asked me to take new pictures of her. Yeah, seriously. I played along, taking photos of my girlfriend so she could look good for other guys. I tried setting up my own profile too, just to show I was making an effort, but my heart wasn't in it. Every time I tried writing a bio, it felt weird and fake. What was I supposed to write? In a relationship, but looking for fun? The whole thing made me feel gross. I think she knew that I wouldn't meet anyone because I'm not social and I don't have the time or energy to meet new people. I had told her that a couple of times, so she probably thought she could go on dates while keeping me as a backup plan. Camila got matches right away. Obviously, she's gorgeous and fun, but what really got to me was how fast she started meeting these guys. Within a week, she had 3 dates lined up. 3. She'd show me their profiles like we were gossiping about celebrity crushes or something. Look at this one, she'd say, shoving her phone in my face. He's a personal trainer at that fancy gym downtown. We're getting coffee tomorrow. And I just nodded, trying to act like this was totally cool and normal. The first time she got ready for a date, I felt sick to my stomach. She wore this black dress I had never seen before. Yeah, she bought new clothes for this and spent almost an hour doing her makeup. When she walked out of our bedroom, she did a little twirl. "How do I look?" she asked, all excited. "Great," I managed to say, while thinking about how that dress probably cost more than what she usually spent on our date nights. She came home late that night, all giggly and happy. I pretended to be asleep when she got into bed, but I heard her texting someone for like an hour. The next morning, she was humming while making coffee, acting like everything was perfect. I started paying attention to her schedule. Monday, it was coffee with the gym guy. Dinner with some lawyer. Friday, drinks with a guy who owned a food truck. Yeah, the variety was interesting. Each time she came home, she looked like she had the time of her life. I started checking the location she was tagging on Instagram. Not my proudest moment, but I needed to know what was really going on. One night, I actually drove by the restaurant where she said she was having dinner. I saw her sitting at the bar with some tall guy in a suit, laughing at whatever he was saying. She had her hand on his arm, looking at him the way she used to look at me. The worst part wasn't even seeing her with these guys. It was how she changed. At home, she started spending way less time with me. No more cuddles. She was always texting someone. Our Sunday pancake tradition? Forgotten, because now she was meeting the girls for brunch. I tried talking to her about it once. "Don't you think you're going on a lot of dates?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She looked at me like I was being ridiculous. That's the whole point of an open relationship, isn't it? To meet new people and have experiences? You should try it too. I can help you with your profile if you want, but I didn't want help with my profile. I wanted my girlfriend back. I wanted the person who used to get excited about ordering pizza and watching bad movies with me. Not this new version of her who was always dressed up and heading out the door. I needed to vent. I couldn't keep watching Camila go out almost every night, getting all dressed up like it was a first date, coming home late with that satisfied smile, and acting like everything was fine. The house felt empty, even when she was there. I felt like a ghost in my own relationship, like an extra in her life. One Saturday night, I decided to call my friends for a drink. We always met up when we could, but it had been a while since I really talked to them about what was going on. As soon as I sat down at the bar, after my second beer, the truth started spilling out. "I can't take this whole open relationship thing anymore," I blurted out, leaning my elbows on the table. "Camila is going out with new guys every week. She's lost count of how many dates she's had. Meanwhile, I'm here, pretending everything's fine while I spend my nights alone." My friends exchanged glances. Raphael, the most straightforward one in the group, didn't hesitate to speak up. "Dude, if you're in an open relationship, take advantage of it. Stop suffering alone." "Take advantage how?" I shot back. "Do you think I feel like going out and hooking up with random people? I never wanted this in the first place." Mateus, the calmer one, tried a different approach. "Look, I get that this wasn't your choice, but since she's going all in on this, you have to stop torturing yourself. Play the game. See what it's like. If it doesn't work out, at least you tried. I don't have the energy for this." I sighed. "Then let's do this," Raphael said, pulling out his phone. "We'll help you. You're going to put up some decent pictures on Tinder, write a bio that doesn't sound like it was written by someone having a breakdown, and see what happens." Guys, I tried to protest, but it was already too late. They grabbed my phone and started fixing my profile. They picked photos where I looked happy and relaxed, wrote a bio that sounded way more confident than I actually felt. Project manager, lover of bad movies and strong coffee. If you enjoy good conversations and easy laughs, we already have something in common. I watched as they handled the app like it was a game. Within minutes, I already had a few matches, but my heart wasn't in it. Still, I didn't want to be the guy who complains and does nothing to change his situation. The next few days were weird. I kept seeing Camila go out, trying to ignore the feeling that I was being left behind. My friends kept pushing me to give Tinder a real shot. Then, one night, while swiping half-heartedly, something made me stop. It was one of Camila's friends. Not one of her closest ones, but I had seen her at parties and gatherings. She had always been nice, always greeted me with a smile, and now, here she was giving me a match. My first reaction was that this was completely wrong. Meeting new people was one thing, but going out with someone who, in some way, was part of Camila's circle? That felt like crossing a line. Or was she even my girlfriend anymore? I didn't even know how to define what we were at this point. I showed the profile to my friends, expecting them to tell me it was a terrible idea. This is too much, right? I asked, holding up my phone. Raphael took the phone from my hand, looked at the profile, and shrugged. So what? If she matched with you, she's interested. But she's Camila's friend. Friend or just an acquaintance? Mateus corrected. Because from what I remember, you never really talked to her much. Even so, it feels wrong. I insisted. Dude, Camila is out there living her best life, and you're worried about what's right or wrong. Raphael laughed. You're not cheating on anyone. It's just a match. At most, just send her a message and see what happens. I still hesitated, but deep down I knew they were right. Camila had already moved on without looking back. I was holding on to something that clearly didn't exist anymore. I took a deep breath and sent a simple message. Hey, looks like Tinder decided to introduce us officially. The message was marked as read within seconds. Yeah, it looks like a winking face. My heart beat a little faster, but for a different reason this time. It was a mix of nerves and curiosity. I had no idea where this was going to lead, but for the first time in weeks, I felt like I was stepping out of the background of my own life. We agreed to meet for coffee. Something simple, nothing too serious, just a conversation to see if there was actually a connection or if it was just one of those matches that never make it past the chat. I still felt a little conflicted about the situation. After all, she was Camila's friend, but at the same time, something inside me wanted to move on. When I arrived at the cafe, she was already there, sitting by the window. She smiled when she saw me and waved. I walked over, and for the first time in a long time, I felt light without that constant weight on my chest. I was curious to see if you'd actually show up, she said with a playful smile. Almost didn't, I admitted, chuckling. But Raphael and Mateus wouldn't stop pushing me. So here I am. Your friends are smart, she joked, picking up the menu. The conversation flowed naturally, without the awkwardness I had expected. We talked about everything and nothing, laughed about terrible date stories, and shared our thoughts on how crazy modern dating had become. At some point, I realized I was laughing for real, without forcing it, without pretending to be okay. She was different from Camila. Where Camila always needed something new, something exciting, something to keep her constantly moving. She seemed more grounded, more interested in connection than in novelty. It was comfortable. Before leaving, we agreed to meet again. No expectations, just another night out. The second time, things were closer. Coffee turned into drinks at a bar, and the conversation stretched late into the night. There was an undeniable tension, a mutual curiosity. There was no rush, but the attraction was there. At one point, while talking about how modern relationships felt like a constant guessing game, I made a joke about how hard it was to know what people really wanted. She laughed, shaking her head. Sometimes the most obvious things are the hardest to see. The way she looked at me in that moment, I knew. The kiss happened naturally, without hesitation. It wasn't just desire. It was the feeling of being seen, of being valued. I wasn't just someone's backup plan. In that moment, I mattered, and that changed everything. The shift in me was immediate. For the first time since this whole open relationship mess started, I wasn't living in Camila's shadow. I felt good, free. I stopped caring about what she was doing. When she went on her dates, I no longer sat there torturing myself, wondering who she was laughing with, who she was touching, what she was doing. For the first time, I simply didn't care. And Camila noticed. At first, it was subtle. She realized I wasn't asking questions anymore, that I wasn't waiting around for her to come home. When she talked about her dates, I just nodded, uninterested. Then she started asking more about me, about my nights, about my schedule. One night, when I came home late, she casually mentioned, "You never used to stay out this late." I shrugged. Things change. That bothered her. I could see it in her eyes, but she didn't say anything. Not yet. Until one night, she finally snapped. I was sitting on the couch, relaxed, when Camila walked in and crossed her arms. "Who are you seeing?" I looked up from my phone, surprised. "What? You heard me. Who are you seeing?" She demanded, her eyes flashing with irritation. I smirked, shaking my head. "Oh, so now you care? Don't dodge the question. I want to know who it is." I could have lied. I could have made something up to avoid the drama. But at that moment, I didn't feel like I owed her anything. You know her. Silence fell between us. Her face went stiff. Oh! I crossed my arms, meeting her gaze head-on. Your friend. It was like I had just thrown gasoline on a fire. Camila turned red instantly, her eyes widening in pure shock before she exploded. You're seeing my friend? I stayed where I was, watching as she completely lost it, waving her arms around, pacing back and forth like she was trying to process what I had just said. How could you? Do you have any idea how messed up that is? Messed up? I let out a dry laugh. Funny, coming from you. This isn't funny. Of course it's not. But you can go out with as many guys as you want, get all dressed up for your dates, come home giggling and happy, and I have to just accept it. But when I do the same, with someone you know, suddenly it's unacceptable. She opened her mouth to argue, but nothing came out. Because she knew I was right. It's different. She finally yelled. No, Camila. It's not. She took a deep breath, trying to calm herself, but I could see her hands shaking with rage. How did this happen? I shrugged. The same way it happened with the guys on your Tinder. We met up, we talked, we liked each other. And you know what? She treats me better than you have in months. Camila clenched her teeth. You did this just to get back at me. I laughed, shaking my head in disbelief. Do you really think everything revolves around you? This has nothing to do with you, Camila. For the first time in months, I feel good. I feel valued. She stayed quiet, her eyes filled with something that looked like a mix of fury and insecurity. I don't believe this. Yeah, well, I didn't believe it either when you suggested this whole open relationship crap. But now, well, I guess I finally get it. She stood there, staring at me, searching for something to say. But there was nothing left to say. She wanted an open relationship. She got one. But now, she was seeing the other side of it. And for the first time, I wasn't the one losing in this story. The argument with Camila didn't end that night. In the following days, the tension between us became unbearable. She treated me with cold indifference, ignored my presence when we were in the same room. And when she did speak to me, it was only to throw bitter, sarcastic remarks. At first, I tried to stay calm. After all, I wasn't doing anything outside the rules she had set herself. But the more time passed, the clearer it became that Camila wasn't handling the situation maturely. She started trying to provoke me, coming home late and talking loudly on the phone about her dates, exaggerating details as if she wanted to make sure I heard. He took me to this amazing restaurant last night. It was so romantic. I didn't respond, not because it bothered me, but because I genuinely didn't care anymore. What really made me realize our relationship was beyond saving was the day she completely lost control. I was getting ready to go out when Camila blocked the door. You're not going out with her again. I crossed my arms, already tired of her games. And why not? Because it's wrong. Funny to hear that from you, I said with a humorless laugh. You can go out with whoever you want, but I can't see your friend? She was my friend. Was. The word lingered between us. Because it was true. She wasn't hers anymore. She had chosen to be with me. Camila clenched her fists, shaking with anger. You're doing this to hurt me. No, Camila. I'm doing this because you opened this door. You want an open relationship. I agreed. Now that the rules don't favor you anymore, you're losing it? She didn't answer. She knew I was right. At that moment, I knew for sure that I needed to end this once and for all. I can't do this anymore. She blinked, caught off guard. What? I'm breaking up with you. The shock on her face almost made me laugh. Maybe she thought, for some reason, that I would never leave. That she would always be in control. That she could keep playing her games without consequences. You're leaving me for her? She asked, her voice wavering between anger and desperation. No, I'm leaving you because I finally see how toxic you are. You never wanted an open relationship. You wanted freedom to do whatever you wanted while I stayed here, waiting like a fool. And when you realized I could also find someone, you lost your mind. She opened and closed her mouth a few times, searching for something to say, but nothing came out. You can't just leave me for her. I'm not leaving you for her. I'm leaving you because I should have done it a long time ago. I stepped past her and walked out. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. The next few days were strangely peaceful. Camila, of course, tried to reach out. She sent messages, some angry, others trying to manipulate the situation. Do you really prefer her over me? After everything we've been through? You're a traitor? I never replied. I owed her nothing. Meanwhile, my relationship with her friend grew. At first, we were just getting to know each other. No rush, no labels. But soon, it became clear that we were good together. She didn't play games. She didn't try to manipulate me. I didn't have to feel inferior or constantly compete for attention. With her, I felt good. Camila never accepted it. Even after months, she still got furious whenever she found out we were together. Mutual friends told me she constantly complained, saying I had humiliated her and that she would never forgive this betrayal. But the irony is that she chose this outcome herself. She wanted an open relationship. She wanted to explore new experiences. She wanted freedom without consequences. She just never imagined I would find someone who truly valued me. And now, she had to live with it. As for me, I was finally at peace.